Hi everyone, and welcome to Golf's Beginner Basics. I'm PGA teaching professional Ben Nelson, and I'm out here at the beautiful David Impastato Golf Academy, where I teach out in Geneva, Illinois. And today what we're going to be talking about is how the golf ball flies. The push, the pull, the draw, the fade. Basically, what does the starting direction of the golf ball do? What is it? And then also, how does that golf ball curve? How does that happen? We're going to talk about how that golf ball flight is created. So if you want to learn how to do this, then you're going to want to watch this. Without any further ado, let's jump into it. Let's start with the basics of ball flight. There are 9 different ball flights, 3 different starting directions, and 3 different curves. So let's start with the starting directions. A ball that starts straight, I'm sure you guessed it, starts straight. We just call that straight. If the ball goes to the left, then we call that a pull. And if the ball goes to the right, we call that a push. However, there is one caveat. That is all relative to a right-handed golfer. About 80% or 90% of golfers are right-handed. So if you're right-handed, a pull is to the left, a push is to the right. If you're left-handed, then it's the opposite. So the easiest way to remember it is if the ball moves towards you as far as starting direction goes, that would be a pull. If the ball moves away from you, then that would be a push. Now we've got curve. For a player that is right-handed, a ball that starts to the right and curves to the left is called a draw. A big version of one of those, one that curves a lot, is called a hook. A ball that starts to the left and curves to the right is going to be called a fade, again for a right-handed golfer. If it does that a lot, then we're talking slice. You can say it the same way that we did with starting direction as well. So regardless of if you're left-handed or right-handed, if the ball starts away from you and then curves towards you, that is a draw or a hook. If the ball starts towards you and curves away from you, then that would be a fade or a slice. So if you combine both the starting direction and the curve, you're going to end up with 9 different ball flights and a way to describe basically any shot shape that you can hit. So we are going to start with the starting direction, and then there's always the curve that works off of that. So you've got pull, pull, fade, and pull, draw, straight draw, and straight fade, and then also push, push, draw, and push, fade. So there's obviously the, push, hook, and pull, slice, and all of those as well. But in general, there are 9 different ball flight shapes. All right, so what we're going to start with here is starting direction, pun intended. The push, the pull. So to help illustrate what creates those pushes and pulls, I have here my handy dandy A-line training aid. This is something that I came up with a number of years ago to kind of help illustrate things just like this and to help people practice things just like this. So what I've got set up here are 2 lines that are both aiming right down that target line, right at that target to help illustrate kind of where all this is going to go. And what creates that starting direction is where this club face points relative to these target lines when that golf ball makes impact. So if I have a golf club that is aimed like this, you can hopefully see that's pretty straight or perpendicular to my target lines. That golf ball is going to start pretty dang straight. However, if that golf club comes in and I'm swinging it and it points to the left over here, way off to that side over there like that, that is going to create a pull. That ball is going to start and move towards you, pull to the left. If that face looks like this and we strike it looking like that, that club face is pointing to the right, then you guessed it, that is going to create a push. So the starting direction of that golf ball is determined by where the face is pointing relative to the target line at that point of impact. So what creates each of those curves? What creates each of those curves is, again, where this club face is oriented and pointing, but it is now relative to the path that that golf club is being swung on. So again, I've got my handy dandy A-line training aid to help me illustrate this. This line now, though, is representative of our target line. And this line here is representative of our club path. So what's the difference? Well, hopefully this helps. This is what club path might look like. This would be considered an in to out path, or a path to the right for a right-handed golfer. This would be considered out to in, or a left path, again, relative to a left-handed golfer. So again, what creates the curve is where this club face is going to be oriented relative to this path. So if I have a path that is to the right over here, and I swing this, and that club face is perfectly oriented right in line exactly with that path, it is not offset at all, it's perfectly perpendicular, then that will create a ball that doesn't curve at all. However, if I swing and that golf club face relative again to this path is pointing to the right, or it's open like that, then what that's going to create is that's going to create a rightward curve or a fade. If I swing and this golf club is oriented to the left like that, well, then that's going to create a draw, and it's going to move to the left. Again, a face pointing to the left relative to that path. So, just to quickly recap, what creates the starting direction of the golf ball is where the face is pointing relative to the target line, but what creates the curve is where the face is pointing relative to the club path. So, what you're going to end up getting is 9 different ball flights, and each of those is a combination of these two options, and whether that face is straight, open, or closed relative to both the target line and that club path.